I want to welcome you today to our YouTube channel. My name is Reverend David Douglas. Welcome to Signs of the Time. We have been speaking about almost what I would call a three-part mini-series about Jesus telling us to keep our eyes on certain things, and they all based on God's Word. And we talked about as far as the temple. We talked about as far as Jerusalem. Today I want to be speaking about Jesus said, keep your eyes on Israel. There are times in the Bible that Jesus told us, to watch about certain things, certain signs, especially to watch out for the signs of his coming. He tells us to watch when it comes to the book of Mark, chapter 13, verses 32 through 37. He said, but of that day and of that hour knoweth no man. No, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. He said, take heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work as he commanded, the porter to watch. He said, watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at evening, or at midnight, or even at the cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. What I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. So, not only to his disciples there that day was he telling to watch, but he said to all. So I believe it's up to each and every one of us to watch about certain things, the signs of his coming, the signs of the time. So what did he really say, to watch about? As I said earlier, in my comments, he said, when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whosoever readeth, let him understand. So he was talking about, to keep your eyes, on the future temple. Then he said in Luke 21 and 20, when you shall see Jerusalem compassed about with armies, then know that desolation thereof is nigh. So keep your eyes also on Jerusalem. In this video, I'm going to focus on what Jesus said in Matthew 24, verses 32 through 34. He said, now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when you see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. I believe that the fig tree represents Israel, because in Hosea 9 and 10, the Lord said, I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness. I saw your fathers as the first fruit, first ripe in the fig tree at her first time. So I believe symbolically the fig tree is a symbol for Israel. Now, he said, when the fig tree putteth forth leaves, I believe that this is actually talking about when Israel became a nation on May the 14th, 1948. Then, Jesus said, ye shall know that summer is nigh, or otherwise it's close. Otherwise, I believe that the coming of the Lord he's talking about is close. It's nigh unto us. So Jesus goes on to say that this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Some have said over the years, that a generation is 40, 50, 70, and I've even heard some say 100 years. I'm not here to debate, about that, but actually maybe to shed some new light on this subject about this generation. Could this mean, and I believe that it does, that the ones that were born, around 1948, or that was alive, when Israel became a nation then, that generation that was, alive then, would not pass away, would not die before all the signs of his coming. Now, he didn't say that he would come, he said, but the signs of his coming, all those signs would be fulfilled in that generation. To me, this makes more sense. But Jesus is telling us here to watch or to keep our eyes, on the nation of Israel. They are God's prophetic clock for the end time. And just like any other people, they have not been, a perfect nation. But God has kept extending his hand of mercy. And God, I believe, has that covenant with Israel. But they, I believe, are part of God's prophetic plan for the last days. In fact, the Bible said, that in the land of Israel, that 2 of the last battles will be fought. The battle of Gog and Magog, the battle of Armageddon. God has made an everlasting covenant with Abraham and even King David, and that he will watch over that covenant and keep it. Nations have even said that they were going to destroy Israel and wipe them off the map. Psalms, I believe, put forth even a prophecy in Psalms 83, 3 through 4, that says this, that they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, otherwise Israel, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Listen to this. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. That will never happen because of God's covenant and promise with Israel. According to the Bible, Israel will be here in the end time. Zechariah prophesied this in Zechariah 14, 2 through 4. He said, for I will gather together all nations against Jerusalem. Jerusalem is in, we know, Israel. To battle, he said, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half the city shall go forth into captivity. And the residue, otherwise what's left of the people, shall be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet, talking about the Lord, shall stand in that day on the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof, towards the east and towards the west. There shall be a very great valley, half of the mountain shall be moved towards the north, and half of it towards the south. This will all take place in the land of Israel at the end of the 7 years of what we call, the tribulation period. Otherwise, when Jesus comes back and fights in the battle of Armageddon, and he'll set up his kingdom on earth at Jerusalem in the land of Israel, and he will rule from there the nations, the Bible said, of the earth with the rod of iron. So Israel is going to play an important role in the last days in Bible prophecy. No matter what leaders of the world tried to do to control Israel, otherwise, with their own agenda, so to speak, God will see that his covenant with Israel stands, and Israel will fulfill God's plan on earth. Amos 9, 4, 5, listen to what God says. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel. They shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled out of their land which I have given them, saith the Lord thy God. It was there in the land of Israel that God chose for his Son, Jesus Christ, to be born and to die for the sins of the world and to be resurrected. All this took place in the land of Israel. God chose the land of Israel even to start the church. God told Israel, he said, even the reason that they were a chosen nation, Deuteronomy 7, 7 through 8, says, for the Lord did set his love upon you. Said this, let me repeat this again. For the Lord did not set his love upon you, nor even choose you, because you were more in number than other people, for ye were but few, the fewest of all people. He said, but, this is why the Lord, he said, but because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep his oath, which he has sworn unto his fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of the bondman, from the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Throughout the times of Israel's existence, God has showed this world his mighty power through the country of Israel. And even now, and even into the future, God will still show his mighty power in action in the land of Israel and because of Israel. There was a story told when King Frederick the Great of Prussia, and he asked his physician, King Frederick the Great of Prussia, asked his physician to give him some kind of proof for the existence of God. Listen to the physician's answer to the king. He said, Your Majesty, the continual existence of the Jews. God told Abraham in Genesis 12, 2 through 3, and I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great. Thou shalt be a blessing, and I will bless them that bless thee, curse them that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth shall be blessed. So, keep your eyes on Israel. When God moves in the land of Israel, I believe that he is truly working throughout this earth. So I hope this has been a blessing to you, because I believe that Israel truly is a sign of the coming of the Lord. So when you see these things, and we have seen it, and there's some still alive today that saw Israel, or was alive at that moment, or even born at that time, and they still alive today. And Jesus said, this generation shall not pass away till all these things be fulfilled. That's something to think about, folks, and that just shows us, to me, just how close we are to the coming of the Lord. If you would, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's been a lot more lately to subscribe, and that will help us. And I really appreciate you listening and even commenting, whether you're for this or against it. I still, read those comments. So thank you for tuning in today. And again, please subscribe. Maybe give us a thumbs up, make a comment. And just remember, Jesus is coming soon. And when you see these signs, when you see these things taking place in the land of Israel, know that the coming of the Lord is even at the door. God bless you is my prayer.